Sonnet 70, the 5 stages. Rhyming couplet. If some suspect of ill masked not thy show, then thou alone kingdoms of hearts shouldst owe. If some suspect, let's try it like that, like a noun. If some suspect of ill masked not thy show, then thou alone kingdoms of hearts shouldst owe. Okay, so I'm not sure which way around this is going, but we've got this mask and stuff like that. Let's do the last words. Thy defect fair, suspect air. Defect. So you've got some kind of problem. And we've got that word suspect. So it's either a verb or a noun, suspect or suspect. We don't know yet. Approve, time, love, prime. Prime, sometimes like when you're at your best. Approve, again, sounds like some kind of love thing. Does someone approve of you? Gaze charged, praise enlarged. That's a strange one, enlarged. I've not heard him use that before in the sonnets. Praise, gaze. So, is someone going to like you? Is someone going to fall in love with you? I don't know. Show, show, oh. So again, appearance. And is something due to that appearance? Is something owed to that appearance? I don't know. Let's break it up into the 4 sections, which is the 3 quatrains, the 3 groups of 4. So after air, after prime, after enlarged. So there's the sections as I've marked them there. Now let's do the breaths. So we're always going to breathe at the start and the end, and I'll put a little / to cover that. Then we breathe at the sentence endings, question mark, full stop, exclamation mark. So air, prime. Okay. So it looks like we've got 3 sentences in all. What's the next biggest punctuation? Colon, semicolon. Do we have those? Semicolon at time, line 6. Semicolon at charged, line 10. Colon at enlarged, line 12. Okay, so I've marked it in. Little. Oh, and there's a semicolon at fair, line 2. So it's a pretty even sonnet. An even sonnet being breath every other line. So there won't be any more breaths. There might be, but it's doubtful. Caesures, the natural break within the line, to be or not to be, that is the question. A line built of 2 phrases. Thou art blamed, that thou art blamed shall not be thy defect. So that thou art blamed is the end of the first phrase. Shall not be thy defect is the second. So caesure after blamed. For slander's mark was ever yet the fair. For slander's mark, for this was ever that. The ornament of beauty is suspect. The ornament of beauty is suspect. No, the ornament of beauty is suspect. It has to be after beauty. Otherwise, it's just not English. A caesure will often be after 5 beats, i.e. halfway through the line, which is always 10 beats. Unless it's uneven, then it's 11. But we don't follow the evenness, we follow the sense when in doubt. A crow that flies in heaven's sweetest air. A crow that flies in heaven's sweetest air. So I've marked the first quatrain like that. Now, I'm going to stop this and mark the next. Okay, so I've just been through the rest of the caesures. And I'll flash them up on the screen, but if some suspect of ill, it's helped answered, whether suspect is verb or noun. If some suspect of ill, master not thy show. I.e. if some bad person, so it's a noun, not a verb, then thou alone, caesure, kingdoms of hearts shouldst owe. So Okay, so we've done those stages. So now what's he talking about? That thou art blamed shall not be thy defect, for slander's mark was ever yet the fair. So if someone slags you off, it's not your fault, because slanderers always pick on nice people. The ornament of thy beauty is suspect, a crow that flies in heaven's sweetest air. So the reason people are slagging you off is because you're beautiful. A crow that flies in heaven's sweetest air. You know, the direct point to get to you, because you're so beautiful, is your beauty. So if people are slagging it off, it's because you're too good looking. We all have that problem. So thou be good, slander doth but approve thy worth the canker greater, being wooed of time. So carry on being good and decent, and the people that slag you off only prove how decent and good you are. For canker vice the sweetest buds doth love, and thou presentest a pure unstained prime. So for horrible people, they love beautiful people, because you are so pure and unstained in your prime of your life. Thou hast passed by the ambush of young days, either not assailed or victor being charged. So you've perhaps escaped being slagged off in your younger days, not attacked, victor being charged. Yet this thy praise cannot be so thy praise, to tie up envy evermore enlarge. Thou hast passed by the ambush of young days, either not assailed or victor being charged. So you've got through your youth with all these attacks, either by being not attacked or by being the victor, because you're being the winner for being attacked. Yet this praise cannot be so thy praise. So, and yet this kind of compliment is not really a great compliment. To tie up envy evermore enlarged, to be the witness of people who just envy you. If some suspect of ill mask not thy show, then thou alone kingdoms of hearts should owe. That thou hast passed by the ambush of young days, either not assailed or victor being charged. So that you've overcome being slagged off. Yeah, this praise cannot be so thy praise, to tie up envy evermore enlarged. Yeah, don't let it go to your head, something like this. If some suspect of ill mask not thy show, then thou alone kingdoms of hearts should owe. So if some suspect of ill mask not thy show, so if you didn't have any problems, then you'd be the greatest person in the world. So anyway, it's something like, if you didn't have these blemishes, if you weren't slagged off, then you'd just be miraculous. Okay, let's try it. That thou art blamed shall not be thy defect, for slander's mark was ever yet the fair. The ornament of beauty is suspect, a crow that flies in heaven's sweetest air. So thou be good, slander doth but approve thy worth the greater, for being wooed of time. For canker vice the sweetest buds doth love, and ever presents. For canker vice the sweetest buds doth love, and thou presentest a pure unstained prime. Thou hast passed by the ambush of young days, either not assailed or victor being charged. Yet this thy praise cannot be so thy praise, to tie up envy evermore enlarged. If some suspect of ill mask not thy show, then thou alone kingdoms of hearts shouldst owe.